Dear brothers and sisters in Christ of the Archdiocese of Regina and all listeners, grace and peace to you at this very difficult hour. As most of you will know, Saskatchewan's Chief Medical Officer has directed that there should be no gatherings of over 25 people in the province, and the City of Regina has declared a state of emergency with no meetings of over 5 people. It is a time of crisis, but it needn't be a time dominated by fear or despair. As we discern how to respond as church and how to live faithfully amidst this challenging situation, I would propose 2 principles to guide our efforts. First, to adhere rigorously to the directives and recommendations of our government and civic officials and health officials. And second, to respond to the needs of our fellow parishioners and indeed all people around us with as much creativity and generosity as possible. Those 2 principles will come into tension with each other, and the civic directives will limit what we can do, but there are always ways to reach out to others, and we need to prayerfully and creatively search them out. Well, presently we are not able to gather as community for the Eucharist. The Church is not cancelled, nor is it suspended. Christ is with us in the midst of all the challenges and sufferings of the present moment. We worship a God who accompanies us in times of darkness and who is able to bring good out of evil and suffering. That message is indeed at the heart of this Lenten season in which we find ourselves. I've often felt that Lent happens to us and is much more about what God initiates within us than about what we might decide to do to live the season of Lent. Through no decision of our own, we have been thrust into a period of isolation and restrictions and job loss, and that has brought suffering and challenges to each of us in different ways. Severe challenges to some, including those who are off work, off school, and those who can't access basic necessities and support. I encourage you to remember that God is always close to us, closer than we can see or imagine. To the extent that, and in ways that you are able, speak to the Lord. Listen for His voice in the silence and in the deepest challenges you face at the present. Many of us are lamenting that we will not be able to enter into the Triduum, the celebrations from Holy Thursday through to the Easter Vigil, as a community. These are the central celebrations of our faith, and yet it will be in our homes rather than our churches that we will be living these holy days. It's good to remember that's how it was in the early church too. I will reflect on that more in the coming weeks. But rest assured, we will be able to walk with the Lord in His passion and death and rejoice in His resurrection and enter into the hope that that brings, even in the midst of this COVID-19 crisis. Just over a week ago, we had a visit from our papal nuncio, Archbishop Luigi Bonazzi, who reminded us that we exist as church in order to let others know the depth of God's love for them. Let's each ponder how we can do that in the present circumstances, spreading the compassion, hope, and joy that our faith brings us and making it tangible for others. Let us live this incredibly difficult moment as lovingly and graciously and mercifully as we can, mindful that the source of all love and grace and mercy walks with us in this valley of darkness. God bless you all. Pray for me as I pray for you.